Hey everybody, it's AKK's Act Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today was Superman and Lois, Season 2 day, Episode 1. Guys, as the title of this video, as it says, literally, this first episode of Superman and Lois was so great. Literally, I loved this episode. I'm just so happy that we're back with the show. I literally love this show to death. Literally, guys, I loved how we, started off this episode. We started it off literally where last season left off, with Natalie arriving, in her pod, coming from their universe, or their, other planet. Or I guess it's it's a different universe, but coming from a different universe, finding out, her father, John, is still alive, and right away, we get that moment where, we do see Natalie hugging John, and then she says, "Mom," and she tries running over to Lois, and we see, even, and a lot of my predictions were right. I just wanted to, clarify that. A lot of my predictions were right on the fact that the main core issue was the fact of Natalie not realize, Natalie having a struggle trying to realize that is not her mother, and John having a struggle on trying to explain that to her. And we really see that through this episode. Right when she tries running towards Lois saying, "Mom," Lois freezes up, and John has to pull Natalie aside and explain to her, that's not your mother. I have a lot to explain to you. And that was intense enough, that moment. And that moment where, Clark's maybe you should go talk to her. And she just turns around and walks away. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is a problem, because, we see, Natalie, walk off with John, and you can just tell it's really getting to Lois. And then it cuts to 3 months later, and I kid you not, I was like, oh my god, 3 months has passed. What is going through Lois's head right now? Oh my god, what's going on? Because as we remember from the trailers, you can really tell she's lashing out at Clark, and I've always wondered what the situation was. I'm like, because when she said, I've been blaming you for what happened, and I was like, oh my god, is she blaming Clark for the kids being in danger? But no, she's blaming Clark because Clark keeps, I guess, asking her, maybe you should go talk to Natalie, even though 3 months has passed and Natalie does not want to speak to Lois, because in that case, at this point, John and Natalie have split ways from, Lois, and, entirely. They're in Metropolis. That's, I guess, where Natalie went to school, so she's trying to go to school on this new universe. And even John's trying to explain to her, look, your friends here aren't your friends. They're totally different. So you walking up to them trying to say, hey, how's it going? They're not going to know who you are. We have to stay low key. He's like, are you sure you really want to go back to school here? At your school. But he's like, don't try to talk to your friends because they won't know you. And he's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I know. Or I mean, tell them I'm from a different planet or a different, different universe. And this is what happened to be on my universe. You know what I mean? Well, they get to be all happy here, not know what's going on. You know what I mean? They're living their best lives, and I'm still, distraught on losing my mother, and I'm from a different universe, and they're not my friends here. You know what I mean? It's but she wants to be there, and you can really tell she's trying to fit in, but it's very hard for her. And even what really was sad is that she said, you know what I mean? At least, it's not, normal. Yeah, of course this isn't going to be normal for me. Same as how I guess it's normal for you that, your wife has 2 sons and has Superman as her, husband. You know what I mean? How's that must feel nice, John. And I was like, damn, she called you John instead of Dad. I said, damn, she's really, upset. And she's like, you know what I mean? How, mom is, has 2 sons and is married to Superman. And you can really tell that she is taking that personal. And John's like, that's not your mother. And I feel like that's still going to be a struggle, even though they resolved that in this episode. We see a moment where, we understand why Lois is upset at Clark, because when she's like, when you keep asking me to go talk to Natalie, it's bringing up, feelings of me feeling like my mother, on the fact that when Natalie called me mom, I didn't feel anything. Same as how I felt like my mom didn't feel anything when she left me and, my sister. You know what I mean? I feel hurt. You know what I mean? That, you keep asking me that, and it's making me feel like I'm my mother, and I don't want to feel that way. And Clark's like, your mom that's probably not how your mom felt. And she's like, well, how else would she have felt, because she left us? You know what I mean? And I felt like, I feel bad. I didn't feel anything. She's been through so much. You know what I mean? And I just don't feel anything. That was really sad to hear Lois say that she felt like our mother, and she felt like it felt wrong that she didn't feel anything for Natalie. And Clark's like, that's not your daughter. It's gonna take some time. And of course, it was right that you froze up. We were all shocked in the moment. You know what I mean? It's gonna take some getting used to. And I feel like, maybe you should go talk to Natalie. because it seems like you want Natalie to be in your life, and that ends up what ends up happening is that she's like, Natalie's like, oh, I don't need you to take, pity on me, this, and that, and Lois is like, that's not it. I think you're a smart, strong, woman, and I really want you to be a part of my life. And I was like, that was really nice to hear Lois say that, because that's exactly what Natalie needed to hear. But I'm afraid that she is going to get too comfortable with the fact of, and she's going to try screwing up the family with, I don't know, it's weird me thinking about this, but I'm afraid that she's going to try to screw up her family that she has, Lois, and make it so that it becomes her, Lois, that our Lois becomes her mother, and she's gonna try to get John together. And I feel like it's gonna be really hard for John to really grasp to see Natalie so happy, and especially because they end up, by the end of this episode, we see them, Lois asks if they because John and Jordan and Clark all come outside because Lois hits the sonic inhibitor, and that's he hears it, and they all go outside. Jordan, and of course, and Clark both hear it because Jordan has Clark's powers and stuff. So it was really cool to see them do that, and then them come outside, and of course Jonathan's like, are they going to be staying here? And she's like, no, they're going to be staying in Smallville for a little bit, see if they can get used to it here. But I just wanted to make sure with you guys if it was okay if they could stay on the farm. I said, oh shit. I said, you just made a big problem, because again, we can clearly tell that Natalie can't get through her head that that's not her mom. Of course, it's going to take getting used to, but it's dangerous that she is not admitting that's not her mom, really. I mean, she is, but she isn't at the same time. And I feel like that's what Natalie wanted to hear, for her to be like, oh shit, this can become my mom. And I feel like that's gonna cause a lot of problem between the kids and Natalie, and between, of course, John and Clark. Because I have a feeling I could see John making a move on Lois, maybe getting comfortable with the fact that Natalie he's having memories rush back to him, and maybe he might kiss her at some moment. I don't know. I feel like drama's gonna go down, and it's very scary to think that shit could just get messed up. Because he even said that, John's like, just wants to make sure with Clark, are you sure this is okay? He's like, of course it's okay, my friend. And that scares me, because you can really tell in Clark's face, he's like okay with it, but at the same time, he hears something in the far, and we'll get into that. Like, throughout this entire episode, we keep getting mini earthquakes throughout Smallville. And I was like, oh shit, what's going on? Because we got a mini earthquake when Lois ended up yelling at Clark about, about John about to be having sex with a girl up in his room. The crazy thing is, that girl is not, her name was Candace in this, or Cassidy in this, but the one girl that he was dating, they ended up dating by the end of the season 1, her name was, what was it, Tegan. So what I'm curious about was that just did him and Tegan not work out? Did Tegan go somewhere else in those 3 months? What happened? Because he was dating Tegan before, not Cassidy. So that was a totally different girl. I don't know, maybe it was a recast, but they would have called her Tegan too. But I'm thinking maybe something happened in those 3 months that Tegan is dating someone else, or maybe went somewhere else, and now he's dating Cassidy. But literally, Lois isn't happy about that, because when they got back from practice, and right now we really see where John's life is. John isn't happy because he's sitting, he's a second string quarterback. There's this new quarterback that, is out there making these great plays, and he's not getting any, time to go out and get on the field and really show what he's made of, even in practice. And he's really yelling at Clark, saying, can you please talk to, the coach about, me being benched and me not having any time to really show how good I am. And he's like, yeah, and then that's when he gets a call, from, a submarine, a ship out in North Korea, and he ends up, because they're drowning right now. The water is breaking into this submarine. They're drowning. He has to go. He's like, oh, I'm going to walk down and go get some supplies at this other farm. I'll be right back. And then that's, of course, time where, him and Cassidy could go up and go make out and potentially have sex and shit. And it was funny because I knew we were in for some cool-ass moment when Clark ends up flying there, and we get a cool flight sequence where him getting there. But when he gets there, he has these, it's like his sonic hearing is getting all messed up, and he's having these weird flashes. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what's happening with him? He ends up dropping in the water, and then he finally gets he's able to control it, and then he finally goes back to trying to stop the submarine from from dropping to the bottom of the ocean. And also, he's able to get the people out, and and of course do a this cool moment where like we see the levels like, you know, on the submarine scanner rising back up. It's like them getting higher and higher, not, you know, lowering down below the ocean. So seeing the meter go up and then we see, you know, him carrying the submarine was such a cool shot. We see the rain and the attention to detail with the suit being all wet and like the wind and everything. And the beautiful cinematography of this show is so good. I just want to thank the writers, the cast, the crew, the people that are involved with the CGI, the costume designers, everybody a part of this show. You guys make this show so good. So seeing that moment where he's just holding up this submarine, acting like a badass, acting like Superman, and then we see him, you know, of course, you know, dropping on the beach. And then, of course, the people inside the submarine were looking around to see what happened, and they see Superman, like, they're like, Superman saved us! I was like, yeah, he did, because Superman, he goes like that. I was like, yeah, that's so sick. But he gets a call from the inhibitor, and I was like, okay, who's he getting it by? Because we know John is retired, you know, Lois's father, so I was like, okay, who could be doing it? It's the new guy. It's the, Ian, what's his name? Ian Bowen. He plays Mitch Anderson, and he's this new guy that took over John's position in the DoD. And he even said that, you know, like, I guess they've been trying to make it work for months, because at this point, what's his face? Mitch Anderson wants Superman to be an only American-based superhero, only a superhero for America. Doesn't want him doing any other world saving. He's like, oh, so we don't like the fact that you were over in South Korea saving a ship that had nukes, and a submarine that had nukes, and of course you couldn't at least dropped it on the American soil. And he's like, you know, I'm not involved with all that stuff. I made a promise to protect the world, not America. He's like, but you need to put America first. We tried talking to you about this, how I want you to be a part of my team, putting America first. And he didn't really get to finish on what he was saying. He's like, you know, I made a commitment to the DoD, and that's all I can really say. I'm not making just a commitment to the U.S. I'm making a commitment to the world. I promised the world I would be there for him, regardless of what's going on. And I love that about Superman. That's Superman. And I just love the dynamic of what, you know, on how Mitch Anderson is acting right now. I'm loving that, because it's like, it's such a unique take on this, on a villain almost. You know what I mean? Like a villain's, I like that. It's like we're getting a grounded villain, but are we though? Because he is involved with something. When he said, I have a team I wanted you to be a part of, I was like, oh shit. Because then he gets the sonic inhibitor, and it's Lois saying, I need you to get back here right, I need you to get home right now. He ends up getting home, and he ends up getting yelled at by Lois saying, you know, your son was upstairs, and, I can't believe you left your son here with a girl. He was about to have, a sex, he was about to have sex upstairs, with his girlfriend, and, you know what I mean, you weren't home. And he's like, well, how was I supposed to know that? He didn't really explain he was out trying to, saving the world. But I was like, you can imagine that's what Clark went to go do. I was like, Clark, tell her you were saving a submarine, and people from drowning. Like, you didn't know that was going to happen. That's not what you were thinking about right away. And she's like, of course, how could you not be thinking about that? He's a 15-year-old boy. Of course, when he gets left alone with a girl, that's what he's going to be doing. He's like, Clark's like, I didn't think about that at his age. And he's like, well, maybe he must have got that from me, because that's what we were thinking about at our age. I was like, shit. I was like, because, Clark, of course, that's not what he's thinking. He's thinking about his powers at his age. You know what I mean? Him being an alien, and where he is supposed to fit in the world, and him trying to control his abilities. That's not what he was thinking about. At least Tom Welling Superman was definitely thinking about that, but Clark Kent, but I guess Tyler's Clark wasn't thinking about that at that age. He was thinking about his powers and where he belonged in the world. So that was very interesting to me to hear all that. But like she gets angry about that, and he's like, it's not my fault. I had to go do something. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go talk to him? She's like, no, this and that. And I guess they end up having that fight, and she doesn't want to go to the party at Lana's. So Clark ends up going by himself. And pretty much there's problems going on with with Kyle and Lana. I guess Kyle's jealous of Lana working with the new potential mayor. She's helping this new mayor do a campaign to become mayor. And right away at the party, Lana, like when everybody's asking this new mayor, like what is his plans about, about teacher raises and about the parks that are abandoned in Smallville. He's like, oh, I'm going to, fix them up. But when he came up about the teachers getting raises, he was speechless. And then Lana saved his ass, coming up with a great response. And I feel like Kyle's finally kind of realizing, oh shit, maybe, at least that's what I thought he was realizing, Lana should have been running for mayor. That would have been cool. Lana came up with that answer very quickly, and she cares about Smallville. She's been there for a very long time. She cares about Smallville. I really see Lana a possibility of where this could possibly go, her running for mayor. I feel like maybe we could see that possibly going that way, where she'll become mayor somehow, because I think she would kill it as mayor. But we can really tell that Kyle is having a problem of him being jealous. And when, when Clark comes in, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and he drops the wine on the counter, and he's like, no, you're good, just not much has been going on, and all that, and then he's trying to, tell him that he's kind of jealous of whatever, and, and Clark kind of picks up on that, and he's like, oh, where's Lois? And she's like, oh, she couldn't come, she's busy, and he's like, oh, you're a terrible liar. And then that's when, he says, is everything okay? And she's like, me and Lois are fighting this, and that. And he's like, oh, if, I would let it be and let it settle and things will sort itself out. And he's like, really? And she's like, he said something about, women are very, mysterious, so just let it be. So, I don't know, that was very interesting to me, but I feel like we kind of got it all sorted out when they finally had the conversation, Lois and Clark, about why she felt the way she felt and why she was blaming Clark. Why she kept blaming Clark for everything, and we got the explanation. So everything is fine as of right now between Clark and Lois. But I'm afraid her bringing, again, Natalie and John on the farm is really going to cause a problem, because it's really going to be hard for John to cope with the fact that he sees his daughter kind of like not realizing and having a trouble realizing that it's not her mom. And I feel like we're really going to see that as the time goes on, that she just can't get over the fact that she's going to think that's her mom. She's going to be like, no, this is my mom. You act like my mom. You can't, why aren't you my mom? And I feel like we're really going to see a problem with that throughout this season. And I feel like it's just going to cause so much drama where, like, her bringing them on the farm could screw up possibly their marriage for a little bit. Clark's and Lois's. Like, it's going to cause, I feel like, a big problem. I feel like that's what the writers are trying to tell us with this, that this might cause an issue. And also, like, this new general dude, Mitch Anderson, like, his new team, and we end up finding out his new team when, like, there's a big earthquake that ends up happening around Smallville, and we see, Clark, getting a Superman costume, fly out to the mines, and ends up finding out, there's these two people trapped below in the mines, and he's about to go in there, but, like, his head's acting all weird, he's getting these weird flashes, and, like, his hearing is going all berserk, and we end up seeing a guy and a girl with the Superman crest that have strength. I was like, what's happening here? What's going on? And then they end up disappearing really quickly, and Clark goes up to try to find out where the hell they are, or if he can hear them, and ends up finding out that they're at the DOD, and when Clark shows up, there they are, and that was scary, because he's like, who are they? And he's like, I told you I want you to be a part of my strike force. They're all about America first, unlike you, where you say you're all about the world first. And that was very interesting, because he's like, I made a promise to everybody. I made a promise to, that I would be there for the DOD, but you need to accept that. And it's like, I don't accept that. And he gives him back the sonic, inhibitor, saying, until you're about putting America first, here's that. And he says, and he's about to walk away, and he's like, you had no right. He's like, General, you had no right to give them that crest that's on their chest. And he's like, there's no reason why there can't be more than one Superman. I said, you ass. I was like, you piece of crap. He's like, that's a symbol of hope, and there's no reason why there can't be more than one Superman. I was like, I like this villain, though. I like how this is, like, it's such a grounded villain, but of course we have the main villain, which, again, I think that whatever, Mitch Anderson is involved in with those two, with his new, like, squad, I feel like they're involved with whatever was in those mines, because there's someone in those mines, and we see a hand. By the looks of it, I'm going to guess it's Brainiac. I don't know if it's going to be Brainiac. By the looks of the gauntlet, because I looked at Brainiac, I'm like, wait a second, that looked familiar. I went up on mine, and, like, the circles a little bit on, like, the arm, I'm thinking, could that be Brainiac? Again, I don't know if they confirmed who the villain might be. I think they said that we're going to get the main villain of the season will come in episode 4 or 3. So we'll get a really understanding of who the villain will be this season. But we kind of have an understanding of possibly Mitch Anderson could be a pretty major big villain in the fact of he doesn't want anything to do with Superman unless he puts America first. And this new group that he has, where he's like, Superman's like, you shouldn't have brought them into the field like that, saving people. They're not ready for what's out there. And he said, yeah, they are. They're ready to put America first and all this and that. And that's dangerous alone. And on the danger he's putting them through. These new cadets that he has of his new squad, and the threats that they will be facing, especially when they have the crest on their chest. That's a crest not only for hope, but it's a crest that all these villains know, and that could be putting them in danger. And it's involved with Superman when you put that crest on your chest. So that alone is going to be very interesting to see. Like, he kind of is a villain, so a little bit like this Mitch Anderson dude, just by the way he's acting and the way he's saying, oh, we put America first, this, and that. And I'm liking what they're doing with that villain, and I'm liking how, again, the score of this show, the moment where like Clark looks back when and Natalie and John were going in the house, and he looks back and the music is playing, we really have the sense of both dangers he's about to face. The danger of possibly a big problem with Natalie and John moving in on the farm, and and what that dangers that will bring, and what that can do, along with the dangers that are out there, and he knows something is wrong with these visions that are happening, and his powers acting up, and something that he can kind of sense is coming. And we really hear that through the music and by the way that Clark looks in the camera or looks to the side. I love that emotion. I love those moments where it's like, even, you know what I mean? It's like he's not safe no matter what. He's not safe when he's trying to have his family and be Clark. He's not safe when he's trying to be Superman. It's like the man can never get a break, and I love that sense of feeling of that. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just the score does something to you. Guys, let me know if you guys know what I mean. That score does something to your heart. I'm sorry. This might be I'm going to say it. This show is the best Superman anything. Best Superman interpretation of the comics, and best Tyler plays the best Superman. Honestly, if this world is the best, I could say, of any Superman stuff I've seen next to Smallville. But I'm going to be honest, I think Tyler plays the best Superman. I think my second pick for the best Superman would probably be Brandon Routh, because I think it's really accurate too when it comes to Superman. And I like his Clark Kent as well. But like young boy Clark Kent, I would give it to Tom Welling, because he played young boy Clark Kent very, very well. And as even time went on, he played Clark Kent very well, but we didn't really see enough of it to be like, oh god, that's your definitive Clark Kent. But I love his Clark Kent too. But yeah, honestly, like they're the three best Superman. But if I had to rank it, it'd be Tyler. I think then I would put Brandon. Then I'd put Tom. But when it came to like the best Clark Kent, I would do Tyler, then Tom Welling, then Brandon Routh's Clark Kent, because we saw a lot of Tom Welling's Clark Kent, and I really didn't enjoy it. So I'd probably put it first in front of Tyler's. But I don't know. It's like we don't really get to see young Clark Kent. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's why Tom has it so high up there, because he's been Clark Kent the longest. It was all Smallville was his origin story. So I guess I would do Tom Welling for Clark Kent first, then Tyler, then Brandon Routh. But if I'm going to be doing Superman first, it'd be Tyler, then it would be Brandon, then it'd be Tom Welling. And then I would do Henry Cavill. I like Henry Cavill Superman, but I'm not the biggest fan of his Superman. But I do think he is good, and I would love him to stay Superman in the DCEU. But since they're not really doing any more stuff with the Snyderverse, they're just not keeping him in there anymore, because they're going to be changing everything in the Flashpoint movie. But off topic of all that stuff, but I just love this show, guys. I'm just so happy we're back. I'm so happy this set up problems. Oh, the biggest issue I had though was Sarah when she came back. And remind you, Jordan was super happy that Sarah was coming back, and it was 3 months. And she made it sound like she was just not interested anymore. When she showed up, and and he went to go see her without texting her, and she got upset about that, saying, "Oh, I didn't know he was coming over. He didn't text me." And she kind of just seems like she's like off a little bit. She just doesn't. It feels like she doesn't like him anymore. I was like, wow. And then when we find out the reason she feels like this, like why she's acting the way she's acting, she's like, "Oh, he's kind of being too much." I said, what? I said he did that nice thing for you. And clearly, I'm not seeing anything of too much. You know what I mean? It's like, I always hated that in general in relationships when like a person could try, whether it's on a guy or a girl side, and someone says you're acting too much. It makes my head hurt. I've had relationships where like that, where like, oh, you're being too much, you're being too nice, this, and that. And it's very sad, and I'm hoping that it just doesn't make any sense to me, and that kind of made me mad at Sarah a little bit. Like when he says, oh, he made sure if she was okay, he made sure, like, oh, would you want to go get milkshakes? It's like, he hasn't seen you in 3 months. And and from my recollection, you guys were dating before you went off wherever you went off. So it's like, it would be messed up if he didn't try to come and see you when like after you've been gone for like 3 months. It's like, come on. I mean, if you want some time to relax a little bit when you get settled, okay, but don't be in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of annoyed me a little bit. But I'm kind of hoping we get a little bit more of an like, maybe she tells him that maybe you're being too much, but again, I don't think he is. So it's that kind of writing doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe there's a bigger picture. I'm gonna be honest. I thought for a second maybe she didn't like him anymore, and maybe she cheated on him wherever she went. I mean, I didn't want to believe that. A part of me still doesn't want to believe it because it kind of gave an explanation and she feels like he's doing too much. Maybe it's because she's never really been in like a serious relationship like that where someone actually is caring for her, because as we all know, the other previous dude she was dating with was a jerk. So I mean, I don't know, maybe that's it. She's not used to this kind of love. I don't know. We'll see more of where that's gonna go, but I felt bad for Jordan. I was like, damn, he did that nice candlelit thing for you and you just were not interested. I was like, damn. But I mean, and you know what I mean, it really annoyed me. And then Kyle saying, oh, you're kind of out of his league. I said, shut the hell up, Kyle, with your shit. I was like, really? Whether you want her to date a jerk? Like, what's your problem? I mean, then again, I kind of always thought Kyle was a jerk. So I don't know. I mean, of course, someone like Kyle would think that, because again, you know what I mean, like, he was kind of the mean person when Clark, you know what I mean, when Clark came back and found out she was kind of dating the school bully or something like that. So, you know what I mean, I don't know. That kind of annoyed me too. I'm like, really? Like, your daughter's dating a nice dude. Don't you want that for her? Like, I was like, damn. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm super happy to be back. I can't wait to hear down in the comments below what you guys thought about this episode. Do you guys feel the way I feel right now? I'm on like a crazed fun high right now because I'm just super excited. I'm happy we're back. I cannot wait for episode 2. I cannot wait. I might rewatch this episode because I just loved it. I might rewatch season 1 again, honestly. I'm so happy we have this show. I'm so happy we have these writers, these directors, everybody involved with the show. I'm so happy they got the casting spot on. Again, shout out to the cast. Again, shout out to you, Tyler, man, and Elizabeth. You guys kill it as Superman and Lois. You guys kill it. But again, share that for anybody that's new to the channel or people that have been here part of this channel. Share this with the cast, the crew, everybody involved with the show. Let them know that I love this show and that we love this show. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here part of this family here on this channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. Guys, we are almost to 500 subs. Literally, that is my goal. So again, if you're new here and you watch this video, please leave a like on this video. That really helps with the channel. And please come join this family if you guys love Superman and Lois as much as I do. But guys, that was a video. I will see you guys next Tuesday for Superman and Lois episode 2. I am super, super excited. I cannot believe we are back. It's so good to be back. But guys, that was a video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.